Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Andy. I usually talk about sex education stuff on this channel, and we are actually going to be talking about sex education stuff this week. Now, we all know about the thing that's going on, you know, the thing that must not be named. Yeah, that thing. So if you have boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whatever you want to call them, or just somebody that you want to see, that you're dating, friends with benefits, you know, all of those things, then this is a bit of an awkward time. Obviously, you can't go and see them. If you don't live with them, you can't go and see them because you risk spreading the thing. So what are you supposed to do? Well, obviously, talk to them on the phone, that kind of thing. But when you're really horny and so is the other person, there's one thing you can do, and that is have video call sex. I don't know if there's any terms of service about this, but I don't think there is. But you should be able to use Google Hangouts or Skype or Zoom if you've got Zoom, I don't know. But all of these you can use on a mobile phone or your laptop or desktop computer. Obviously, you get that visual stimulus that you don't get from phone sex or sexting or anything like that. But it's not as easy as you might think. And I've got some top tips for you to do with video call sex. Number one, and this is very, very important, make sure your room is private. So for example, a lot of the time you create a Google Hangout room or something like that, and you send a link to somebody. Now, technically anybody with that link can join the call. So, house party is a really bad place to have video call sex for exactly that reason. But what you can do on Google Hangouts is say that only people that you list are allowed in the conversation, or you can switch on a feature which means that you have to accept the call from somebody else. And I'm pretty sure that's the case for other platforms as well. Some systems are private anyway. You have to be both logged in and specifically calling somebody. Those are fine. But basically make sure that your connection is a private one and not somebody that somebody can accidentally stumble across. Because more than just any old chat, this is important, probably to you, that it is private. Number two, make sure you know the boundaries before you start actually doing the video call sex. Not necessarily before the call itself, but either work this out before you call them or at the beginning of the call. Lay out your boundaries between each other. And actually, video call sex is probably a good way of trying to communicate with somebody during that kind of activity, right? So when you're having physical sex, you should communicate with your partner and find out what they like, what they're not liking, all the rest of it. But in video call sex, it's paramount because you've no idea. You haven't got any other tells. You may have some visible cues, but not as many as you would when the person is present. And you don't have any kind of touch cues or anything like that. So often you might get, grabs and things like that, which will tell you certain things when you're having physical sex. But video call sex, you don't get those. So it's really important to communicate with the person on the other end of the call. But also, it's much easier to, right? You have to do it. So take that, and when we're out of this thing, the thing is over, then take that learning and take that communication and apply it to your physical sex if you're going to have that. Tip number three, and this is something I've learned from doing YouTube videos, is get decent lighting. There is no point, this is just video call etiquette in general, but there is no point in not being able to see what's going on if you're going to do a video call. Now, sometimes that means turning every single light on in the room. Other times it means maybe getting something which, like I've got here, I've got a nice light, which I just bring in here. I can't bring it in because the electricity won't come this far, but I have a light here to light me up. There's some natural light coming through the window as well, but that might be the best idea, depending on if you're overlooked or not. But basically, make sure that you are able to be seen. And equally, make sure that you're able to be heard. There's no point being in a situation where you can't actually talk to each other. Now, I understand that having all the lights on is not necessarily a It doesn't really set the mood very well sometimes. But the point is, you've got to make sure that light is in front of you, not behind you, or something like that. So if you've got a bedroom lamp or something like that, then make sure it's like the other side of the camera. So it's shining on you, so you can be seen in the laptop or in whatever device you're using. And rather than where you would usually have it, say behind you, because you want to read a book or whatever you're doing and you want the light shining on that, you have to have it behind the camera so you can be seen. I mean, technically having video sex with a YouTuber is professional. Tip number 4, I think we're on 4? 4? I never wrote down the numbers. Let's say it's 4. Tip number 4 is to lock your front door or lock your bedroom door or whatever it is. So maybe you're in a shared house or something like that. And although people shouldn't be coming in, you know, make sure that is the case. Make sure you're in a secure environment where you're not going to be interrupted. You don't want the postman or whatever, the milkman, I have no idea. But you don't want to be in a situation where you're going to be interrupted. Maybe put your phone on silent, all those kind of things, right? Because that will definitely kill the mood. And also, you know, you want your privacy, yeah? Like I said before. And tip number 5 for video call sex is make sure you've got enough time to do it, because it will take longer than you think to set it up. With all the things I've just told you about, like, you know, lights and video and sound and all the rest of it, it's going to take a lot longer to set up than you might usually take to set up. Don't forget the foreplay, don't forget all the other things that you want to do, you know, you wouldn't go straight into it. Make sure you have plenty of time, so there's no time pressure. Make sure it's kind of open-ended so you don't have to run into something else. And 6, this is probably the last one, make sure that your partner also does all of this so that you both have the same security. Nothing worse, is there? Nothing worse than you setting up all this stuff. You're making sure that you're in the best place for it, and then the other person at the other end of the line can't do that. So talk about this in advance. Make sure that both of you have a good understanding of what's going to happen and all the rest of it. Communication is key. It's always about the same in relationships, isn't it? Surely that is relationships. That should be just like the tagline for all relationships. Communicate. Actually, one last tip for video call sex. If you're somebody who's in a polyamorous relationship, or you are into threesomes or whatever, you know, group sex, all of those things, video calls are actually a very good way of doing it, because of course you know who's on the call, you know, you can have many people around. But if you do that, make sure you include everybody, as like you might do if you were having 3 or 4 people in a sexual situation physically. You know, it's real easy perhaps on a video call to forget about somebody if you are doing 3-4 people in a call. So make sure that you include everybody, make sure that everybody gets the same amount of respect and communication. And hopefully that means that everybody gets the same out of it, gets full enjoyment as they possibly can out of this situation. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you've got any tips of your own about video call sex. Leave them just down below. Please, during this time, this thing, make sure you are social distancing, make sure you're washing your hands regularly. Thank you for watching. I make videos more or less every single week on sex education and welfare topics, so that's a really good reason to subscribe, and make sure you click the little bell so you are notified of when I next upload. And therefore I will see you again next time. Bye bye.